As Indiana gets settled, let me do some introductions. It's a pleasure to be joined by Indiana head coach Curt Cignetti and student athletes Aiden Fisher, defensive player of the game, Mikail Kamara, and joining us in progress will be offensive player of the game, Alberto Mendoza. Coach, when
No,
you
Fernando.
Fernando Mendoza. Coach, when you have a minute, please give an opening statement.
Okay. Hey, how come they never include the defensive statistical leaders on the short stats?
They got the pretty guys.
Okay, hard-fought game. Give a lot of credit to Miami. It was a real gut check. We found a way. It's credit to our guys' resiliency to find a way to get that done. It's a great thing. Indiana winning the national championship 2 years into our tenure. You do it with people and a plan. Can't say enough about our senior leadership and the people we have in the locker room and the people we have on our staff and our strength and conditioning staff, support staff, and the commitment we received from President Witt and Scott Dolson. I would like to say our NIL is nowhere near what people think it is, so you can throw that out. This team really overcame a lot on the road in a lot of tight games and found a way to get it done. And we're 16-0, and I guess we're 27-2 since Indiana, but we're 16-0.
16.
National champions at Indiana University, which I know a lot of people thought was never possible. It probably is one of the greatest sports stories of all time, but it's all because of these guys and the staff. So proud of them, and it's a great night.
We're going to start with questions. Let us get you the mic. Again, as a reminder, Fernando Mendoza will join us in progress. We'll take our first question from our right-hand side on the aisle.
Hey, Curt, Dan Wolken from Yahoo Sports. With that 9 minute to go decision, field goal team went out, you brought him back. What was the thought process there in going for it and the play call?
Yeah, I think we'd gone for it on fourth down, maybe the series before too, or maybe it was that series. And we finally came up with some ways to give the quarterback a chance to get the ball out of his hand because we were having some protection issues. That particular play didn't feel really good about kicking a field goal there. The play before, they were in the coverage for the quarterback draw, which we put in specifically in the medium package in the low red against that look. We had to block it a little different than we normally do, and that was about a 45-minute discussion in the staff room how we were going to call it and do it. Line did a great job executing, so the back, and Fernando trucked the linebacker, broke a few tackles. And, let me tell you, Fernando, I know he's great at interviews and comes off as the all-American guy, but he has the heart of a lion when it comes to competition. I mean, that guy competes like a warrior, and, he got really smacked a few times in this game. That one drive we kicked the field goal, there should have been two roughing the quarterbacks and one high hit to the head that weren't called. I'm all for letting them play, but when they cross the line, you got to call them. And I can't say enough about his effort on that play and our team finding a way to get it done.
Take our next question here in the middle. Stay on the right-hand side.
For Fernando, this is Pat 40 from Sports Illustrated. If you could go through the quarterback draw as well. First of all, the timeout, and did you know that was you were going to go for it, and that would be the play call, and then the actual play itself?
Yeah, a big concept that we've really had on ourselves this year is always betting on ourselves. Whether it's preseason, no one thinks we can make it. Whether it's figuring it out in situations like Oregon, Penn State, and Iowa, we've always figured it out. And whenever Coach Cignetti, Coach Shanahan, they called that play, we knew, hey, we're going to bet ourselves one more time in the biggest stage of the game. And at that point, I took the drop, and it wasn't the perfect coverage for it, but I trust my linemen, and everybody in that entire offense and entire team had a gritty performance today, and we're all putting our bodies on the line. So it's the least I could do for my brothers.
Come over here to the left-hand side.
Yeah, Coach Cignetti, you're obviously going to follow your dad into the Hall of Fame one day, but this championship moment was the one thing that escaped both of you. I just wonder how much you thought about him on a night like tonight and what you think he would have said to you.
I thought about him after the game when I stuck my two fingers in the air, and then Big Ten Network asked me about him. And I said, "Oh, you want me to get all choked up, right?" You know, when we went from FCS to FBS in the Sun Belt, our first game he was in a coma, and we beat that FBS team 48-10 in the opener. And my family told me, they told him in the hospital that we'd won 48-10, and they said he smiled. And then we had a great win against Appalachia State the week after he died down there after they beat A&M. We were down 28-3 in the second quarter, came back and won. So hopefully he was watching today. He was a great role model. I was very blessed to have a father like that.
See over on our left-hand side on the aisle.
Yeah, it's Chuck Culpepper from the Washington Post for Mikail. You kind of epitomized this whole thing. It's been since 2020. If you could sort of, what do you think about when you think about that path since then?
I mean, I've played pretty much every single level of football, FCS, G5, now here in the Big Ten. So just to really do this with guys like Fisher and all my other teammates that I've done this journey alongside of, I'm just – I didn't think it was possible, man. I can't lie. But to be here today, it's like it's surreal.
Take our next question right over here on the left-hand side aisle.
This is for Coach and Mikail. Sammy Jacobs from Hoosier Huddle. You guys have had your starters, All-Americans, make plays on punt block all year with D'Angelo. Take us through that play and how important it is to have those guys like Mikail, Isaiah Jones, D'Angelo make impacts on special teams.
I'll start with a short answer. You know, Pons was a punt block, and he blocked a punt. This was actually a return, and Mikail blocked the punt. We didn't have punt block called. And Nadukwe's done it a couple times as well. And you can take it away.
Pretty much there was a punt before where we were in defensive safe, and I feel like I was kind of close. So the second time, the time that I blocked it, I was like, I'm just going to shoot my shot. And I just watched the ball, got off the ball as fast as I could, shot my shot, and I heard that double thug.
Very fitting that Isaiah Jones would be on the recovery.
Move over here to the far right-hand side.
Chris Vanini from The Athletic. Fernando, you dropped a curse word there at the end, something you don't do very often. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, I would say overwhelmed by emotion, and it's the pinnacle peak. It's like all season we've, sometimes I've had these cookie cutter responses, and media trained responses where it's been like, oh, on to the next game, on to the next play, and now we did it. We did it. So at that point, I think it was only fitting to kind of, open the floodgates, per se. Probably break my stereotype.
He's been around Coach Sig too long. He has an X-rated mouth.
No doubt.
Back on our left-hand side.
Hi, Coach Ari Wasserman on 3. In this sport for the past 25 years, it's been done a certain way to get to this point. You recruit top 5 classes, you get a bunch of 5 stars, you develop them, you win national championships. What you guys did is something that really has never been done before. You said at the beginning yourself that nobody believed that this could happen. What message did you send to the entire sport by doing what you did in terms of anybody can do this? And do you think that what you guys did changed the way that we should analyze this?
I think we sent a message, first of all, to society that if you keep your nose to the grindstone and work hard and you got the right people, anything's possible. In our particular situation in the athletic world, college football's changed quite a bit, the balance of power also. But we had the right people on our staff, in the weight room, in the locker room. And we had great senior leadership and togetherness, and we had a really good quarterback that played his best when the chips were down. And if you prepare the right way, which this team did week in, week out, and put it on the field, we met the challenge every single week, and we're 16-0. Are there 8 first-round draft choices on this team? Probably not. No, there aren't. But this team, the whole was greater than the sum of its parts.
We move in the back right.
Bill Bender, Sporting News. Is questions for the defensive players. I mean, not only you mentioned statistics, they had 18 yards in the first quarter, I think, and that start. I mean, what went into that, and then what was your vantage point of obviously the game clinching interception?
Yeah, it's something we pride ourselves on, is stopping the run first. Kind of got away from it in the second half. A couple of miscues, but just a resilient group. We came into this game knowing that the more physical team was going to win. And credit to Miami. They're an extremely big and physical O-line with, great running backs and a lot of weapons that can hurt you quickly. But I mean, Coach Haynes is unbelievable at what he does. We have guys that just want to win. They're one-on-ones, and, as a whole, we came down to the bend, don't break mentality on that last possession. We told ourselves on the sideline, we're going to have a chance to go win this thing. And I feel like that was kind of fitting for our team. Put it on us one more time and, kind of let the chips fall. But I'm just so proud of our guys on defense, and, the staff we have is unbelievable. And you put guys on the field that just want an opportunity to prove themselves. I think they've done that at this point.
Pretty much to piggyback off of what he said, like, we really just pride ourselves on stopping the run and then making it so we could just pin our ears back and rush the passer on third down. So just to have, like, a leader and a All-American linebacker like Fish behind me, bro, he just makes the game so much easier for me. So I'm happy to be playing with him and the rest of my group.
All right, we're going to come right over here, middle of our left-hand side.
Andrea Adelson with ESPN. Curt, as a follow-up to what you were just asked, how do you think winning a championship will change the way people view and talk about Indiana football?
We're national champs. TCU had a great run a few years ago and fell short. I know Indiana's football history has been pretty poor with some good years sprinkled in there. And, it was because, there wasn't an emphasis on football, plain simple. Basketball school. Coach Knight had great teams. The emphasis is on football. It's on basketball, too. But, you got to be good in football nowadays. We got a president that comes from the South that loves football. We've got an AD that is a tremendous fundraiser, people person. And we've got a fan base the largest alumni base in the country, Indiana University. And they're all in, and we got a lot of momentum. So we just got to keep working at getting better in all phases that influence program success, including the things that happen within the program. Stay humble and hungry, and work diligently toward improvement, buy into the process. What the outside public thinks, we don't control. It's a great story, tremendous story. Most people will tell you that are in the know. It's probably one of the greatest stories of all time in terms of a team expect that most people, what we got done. We're going to enjoy this moment, take a day off tomorrow, get back at it Wednesday. A lot of these guys will be gone. I'll miss them. Hope I can stay connected to them throughout the rest of their lives, and put the 26 team together.
We're all the way back on our right, standing up.
Hey, Coach. Hanjay Roger from CBS Sports. First for Coach, there are 7 players left who came with you from James Madison. I'm curious, what has that group meant, and how did it help set the culture? And for the 2 defense players who obviously were both part of that group, what do you think your guys' legacy will be coming from JMU and having such success here?
I think the JMU crew, which started at 13 in our first season, was very instrumental, especially the guys that came in mid-year. I think there were 8 or 9 of them. I can't remember for sure, maybe 10 or 11, because they understood the program, the culture, and they had that championship attitude. They were able to answer questions for the guys that decided to return, and the right guys returned. And the new transfers, too, they could answer their questions and lead, and they were good players. And I think that accelerated our development as a program. There's no question about it. There were 7 more left this year, and they all played a very key, pivotal role. I'll miss them. And now I'll defer to you.
I first just want to shout out some of those key guys last year, like James Carpenter and Jay Walk, just some of the guys that really didn't get a lot of a lot of media attention, but those guys were dogs, and they did a lot for this program, and they really set an example for the younger guys that came up behind them. But like I said earlier, just to be able to do something this crazy, like this is something you write a book about, right? You write a movie about. So to do this in real life and do it with all these guys that I love, it's just it's amazing.
It's just been an unbelievable journey. You take those 13 guys. I don't think any of them, had great offers coming out of high school. We had a coach that took a chance on us once, and then the opportunity arose to do it again. And I know, for me, it changed my life. I'm here playing at the highest level with some guys that, I was playing at a very small level at. And it's just been a crazy journey, and one that I'm so glad that we got to do together. Those 13 guys that came in, we owe a big credit to the Indiana guys that took us in really quick. You put a group of guys together that just wanted to win, and, they were starving for wins at Indiana. The biggest shout-out is to Mike Kadick. He kind of started this thing. He brought us in, and there was no, cliques or anything with the JMU guys. We all were together, with the Indiana guys from day one. But just special men that got brought on this journey, guys that just put their head down and worked, and it's just been special.
Take our next question right here, front, middle.
Jim Coyle, Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Curt, you just talked about taking a day off and enjoying it that way and then getting back to work. But other than having a cold Coors Light in that teal chair, you just made history with a 16-0 national champion. How do you let yourself really enjoy this?
Good question. Because I'll be dealing with underclassmen going to the NFL tomorrow, and who knows what else. And if I was smart, I'd probably retire. Then I'd really be a story. But we need the money. What would I do? What would I do? No. So I don't know if I'll have a beer in the tilt chair. I had one after the game. That's enough for me. And we'll be back at it. I love what I do. I love football. I'm a football guy. I don't have many other things that I do besides family. And in the summer, go for a walk with my wife or go away. In February, the old signing date, first day after the old signing date. I'm a film junkie, and I like putting the team together, and we're going to have a lot of challenges next season. And, but I will have a chance to look back at what we got done and, these guys made it happen. Let me tell you, we had some great senior leadership on this team. Nowakowski, Coogan, Fisher, Kamara, Surratt. We got some underclassmen that are going to be going out. Fernando could be another one or two. But the seniors, this team was so close, so close. When you have this much success year in, year out, your teams are always close. But this team was exceptionally close. And I think Fernando had a big part of that. And I think Coogan and Fisher and going on the road with some of those wins, the Penn State game, what that did for this team, I can't measure. When we were down and out and all the odds were against us, 2nd and 17 running clock, minute 30, and all of a sudden we recomposed and found a way to get that done. That was incredible.
We'll take our next question in the back.
Hi, Lane Higgins from the Wall Street Journal. This one is for you, Coach. And, this is obviously a little bit of a different blueprint from what we've seen in college football based on both your career arc and how this team was assembled. Do you think that this opens the door for a different kind of coach to have an opportunity going forward, or maybe some non-traditional hires that we might see in the sport?
I think it already has, and you see that in this year's hiring process. But there's a number of guys out there that kind of started out at D2 and worked their way to this position. My career path was certainly unusual, but I think it prepared me for this particular opportunity. And I guess my answer is yes.
Take our next question. Stay on the right-hand side aisle this time.
Lou Friedman from A Media, Indiana, for Fernando. Tonight you had one of the runs that will probably live on in IU lore, But the other day, I was talking to your brother, and he was making fun of your running style. Does he do that to you? Does he tease you about that? I see these guys laughing, but does he? And have you had talks about that? And is this an answer to him too?
Yeah, I think everybody on the team, including the coaches, make fun of my running style. But as long as it gets the job done, it's fourth down. So no matter how you run, no matter what it is, you got to put it all on the line. And that's something that I was willing to do. And everybody, any player on our team, if they had that opportunity, they would put their body on the line too, and wouldn't want to do for any. It's so great because Coach Sig has talked about how close we are. Like, that's just the epitome of how close we are. Like, I'll have a big run and Fish would be like, man, you look so stupid. but you got it done. So it's just kind of like we can make fun of each other, joke, and in the end, I'll still be really, really close.
Time for just a couple more. We're going to go over here to the left-hand side in the middle.
Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. Coach, you said you had a beer after the game. What was the beer, and was that the best beer of your life?
Hoosier beer from Upland Brewery, okay? Big brewery in Bloomington, Indiana. Throw a little bouquet out to them. Yeah, absolutely. It was the best beer I've ever had in my life and made me want to have another.
I'm over here, front row on our right.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. For each of the student athletes, you met Curt Cignetti at a different time in your path, but you all believed in him. He believed in you. Now that you're sitting here as national champions, 16-0, first time ever for the college football playoff era. For each of the student athletes, just what this moment means to you, believing in him, believing in each other.
Yeah, I've said it once. Coach Sig not saved my life, but changed my life. From a kid that was, felt like I was under-recruited, that, I deserved more attention than I got. And I remember when Coach Sig offered me, and, he offers me, he's like, do you want to do anything with it? Or, he's waiting for me to commit on the spot. So, shortly after I did, and then he got another opportunity to, come to Indiana, and it was a no-brainer for me. The amount of confidence he built in me, the trust and belief he had in me, why would you leave that? When a coach that cares that much about you and sees so much for your future, he just talked about, development and growth for me all the time. It was a no-brainer. And I owe a lot to him. He's an unbelievable coach, but he's an unbelievable person. It's been special. I'm glad I made both those decisions the right way.
For me, we started this journey, as FCS players. Me and him definitely butted heads a lot when I was younger. And just knowing, like, how much I've grown, how much we've grown, I just know, like, everything that he did was just out of love. Even though in the moment I didn't feel it, but now I just understand as I get older, like, all the lessons that he taught me to stay humble, to stay poised, to stay ready, like, it's paying off, and I'm gonna be able to take everything that he's taught me into the NFL.
Yeah, I'd say with myself, it's kind of like a testament that everybody's had. Like, for example, Coach Sig betting on himself, going from Alabama, then going back down to D2, and all these other guys, really betting on himself and self-believing. It was a very tough decision to transfer myself. However, when I got here or on the visit, he sold me on developing and that I could become the best Fernando Mendoza possible, and with a hell of a great group of guys. At that point, I knew it was a no-brainer, and just can't thank Coach Sig, Coach Shanahan, and Coach Whitmer enough. They're always sticking through with me through the thick and thin of this entire season.
Last two. First right here.
Coach, right here in front of you. Hey, Coach. AP Stedham of AP as we see it. Coach, 16 years ago, I had the pleasure of asking a native son of West Virginia if he ever envisioned as a young boy winning championships. So I ask you, as a young boy growing up, did you ever envision winning championships at this level of college football?
I knew in third grade I wanted to coach. I've told that story many a time. I wanted to be like a Bear Bryant kind of coach. But when I was waxing staff tables at IUP when school was shut down for the playoffs, I never really thought this was possible. But I just kept working, and things happened, and here we are.
Last question on the right-hand side, standing.
Coach, Matt Fortuna, the Inside Zone here. You were a successful football coach for 40-plus years before you got your shot at the quote-unquote big time. Was it hard not to be bitter about not getting that opportunity? And does it make a moment like this all the more sweeter? Are there lessons that people can take away from this?
I really wasn't a successful coach for 40-plus years. I got a great break 23 years old at Rice University, which back then was in the Southwest Conference. We played SMU before they got the death penalty. And I was making good money, and it was one of the top 2 conferences in the country. But Rice didn't win, and Temple didn't win, and we didn't win at Pitt under Johnny Majors, and people want to hire people from winning programs. We won a little bit under Walt Harris, but we were 500. I learned a lot about quarterback play from him. He was a great quarterback coach. Went to NC State, we won. We had Phillip Rivers, and then when I spent 7 years there. But when Coach Saban hired me, we were 7-6 our first year at Alabama. We lost to Louisiana Monroe, 11th game of the year at home. But the next year, we had 6 first-round draft choices in that recruiting class. We were 12-0 in the regular season. Lost the SEC game. It was 1-2 to Tebow and Urban. Next year, we played them again, beat them, went 14-0, won the national championship. I really thought after my 1 year with Nick, I had what I needed to go out. That tied it together for me because I was the son of a coach who's in the Hall of Fame, head coach. I was hitting the big 5-0. I didn't want to be a career assistant. I was not a coordinator. I was not on track to get a head coaching job, and I didn't want to be a 60-year-old assistant. I'd seen what those lives looked like as a kid. So I took a chance, took an unprecedented chance in this business and ended up here. When I took that job, the goal wasn't to end up here, but I did. And the reason I'm sitting here today, all those things prepared me for this, but the reason I'm sitting here today is because of guys like this, and there's a ton of them in that locker room, and a great coaching staff, and a lot of us have been together a long time, a great strength and conditioning staff, a commitment from the president and AD, and in the changing times of athletics, some of my previous experiences really helped me be ready to manage, NIL and transfer portal and those kind of things.
Aiden, Mikail, Fernando, Coach, congratulations on your historic season. Thank you for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. God bless.